So Denver got a little rain last night. And if that was our flood mitigation infrastructure working in this city, hate to see what it would look like if it didn't. People getting hauled out of stuck cars in the new lowered section of I-70. Colorado Boulevard turned into a river. The worst of it was in Rhino, along that I-70 construction area and near City Park. Denver Fire says it rescued 29 people, got almost 80 calls for help. Flooding on I-70 shut down the interstate for a time. We were watching drivers and their kids get pulled out of water at 38th and Blake in an underpass that goes under the light rail. This is near City Park, Colorado Boulevard and 23rd. Other side of City Park at the zoo, the hippos would have felt pretty much at home anywhere. That I-70 construction project, you know, has been called the ditch by critics. One of their concerns about building an underground interstate below the level of the South Platte River is that, it might rain really hard and turn the interstate into a lake. Our Marshall Zellinger got his hands on the drainage plan for the Central 70 project. While it's not built to handle the kind of storm we got last night, the flood mitigation system it does have failed.
Want to go whitewater rafting? Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
This is not part of the temporary drainage plan for Central 70. In fact, the pump station that is supposed to keep this from happening when the project is complete is supposed to be working.
Are you kidding me?
According to a statement from the contractor, Kiewit, an error in the drainage pump system appears to have prevented the pumps from turning on automatically. Once this was determined, Kiewit turned the pumps on manually. The statement continued that the drainage system is not complete. That's true for the eastbound side, but according to the temporary drainage plan, the westbound roadway and drainage systems are fully constructed and operational. When the project is complete, the underground part of I-70 is supposed to be able to withstand a 100-year rain event. That's about 2 inches of rain in a half hour. The closest measurement we have from last night is from the Denver Zoo nearby, which got close to that amount. During the construction, Kiewit has committed to be able to withstand a 10-year rain event. That's about 1.25 inches in a half hour. This area got more than that last night. Water on this part of I-70 goes into the drains, just like any other highway, but the water then gets pumped up to detention ponds and out to the Platte River, which is higher than the highway. This is different than how flooding was solved at I-25 from Broadway to University.
A deluge. An outright gully washer.
And what people lovingly used to call Lake Logan.
We did real good right up into there, and the lady right in front of us started floating.
When the highway was redone here, larger pipes were installed underground. And when the water flows into the drains, it continues downhill under Mississippi to Santa Fe, where it enters the Platte. No need for pumps because of gravity. Here's the tricky part about I-70. The eastbound side, still under construction, does not have the proper drainage yet for the 100-year event, just the 10-year event. The westbound side is ready, but all of this is contingent on a working pump. Kiewit did not answer my follow-up questions about why and how did the pump error happen, and why and how should we and the ditch critics believe it won't happen again.
For the time being, Marshall, every time it rains, Kiewit needs to send Bruce down there to flip the pump on. That's what we've learned. So there are people that hated this highway project from the start. This was one of their concerns. So is what we saw last night validation, or is it just a switch?
It depends, because once it's all done, it should handle about the amount of rain we had last night. Maybe last night's rain was a bit too much for the system, but the pump, if it automatically works, it's supposed to suck the water from the drains up and out. So once it goes through the drain just needs room, and that's what the pump's for. And if the drain has no room, that's what we saw last night.
Between that and that situation over on 38th, I mean, we're all kind of joking around about it today, like, wow, that was wild, but we were so close to something truly tragic happening, especially there underneath those heavy rail tracks. All right, Marshall, thank you.
Our next question tonight: how is climate change affecting how we assess these 50 or 100-year floods and storms? I'm guessing you've heard the term 50 or 100-year flood event. That does not mean that it's only going to happen once every 50 years or once in a century. It means that there's, say, a 1 in 100 chance of a 100-year storm happening each year. We know that storms are getting more intense and frequent because of climate change. Russ Schumacher, Colorado State climatologist, tells us that climate change is redefining those 50 and 100-year markers, mostly in other parts of the country.
In, for example, the Midwest or the northeastern United States, there's already a very clear signal that the heaviest rain events are getting heavier. We actually haven't seen that so much in the West. So the statistics here, in Colorado and the Southwest haven't changed quite as much in recent years. I think partly because we've been in drought. As the climate changes, I think there will be a need for more concerted, effort and more research into these sorts of things to hopefully get those numbers right.
Those numbers matter because engineers and city planners rely on those metrics to design their work. We should say, flooding in Colorado this time of year obviously is not unheard of. Schumacher pointed out, monsoons in late July, early August, that was what was behind the big Thompson flood in 1976, as well as that really bad 1997 flood up in Fort Collins.